welcome back to another edition of Rebellion Reborn, a segment of the Primatech Files, which of course is a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to all things Heroes Prime and Heroes Reborn related things. I am Lilith, and on the hunt for that damn Healy is...
Well, I've eaten, and now I'm ready to talk about Heroes Reborn. It's Ricky.
So up for discussion today is the penultimate episode of the Heroes Reborn miniseries event, Company Woman, sans black and white flashbacks.
There was a bit of sepia in there.
But it wasn't that straight up black and white.
Yeah, I know.
Just monochrome tone. I was bummed. But it was still cool. In true Heroes fashion, it didn't really feel like a penultimate episode. So I'm glad that they decided to keep with that trend, ?
Yeah. I just find, like, maybe reading too much into things, but when I was watching it, like, a lot of stuff came to my mind about, like, the characters, and whether or not, like, the writers had intended it that way, I'm seeing it like that. So I guess we'll get into it as we get into it. So
okay, so the ratings for the penultimate episode of this miniseries was a 1.0 in the demo, and it had 3.8 million people watching.
Yeah, it's not bad. Again, between the 3.5 and 4 million range. And yeah, I guess, shall we just start off with this quote-unquote cancel business?
Well, it wasn't really canceled. It was a miniseries. Like, that's what I hate when people say that. I'm just like, dude, it was always meant... This particular thing was always meant to be 13 episodes.
I think I vaguely remember, like, Tim saying, if the ratings are good enough, there's a possibility of season 2. Or maybe that's...
No, a second installment, basically.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it anyway, probably in like 3 years. The only reason why they even did Heroes Reborn, it wasn't because of the fans. It was because revival shows like 24 and X-Files and Fargo and things like that were happening. And they wanted to jump on that trend. And that was basically the only show that still had a really active, passionate fan base.
Yeah.
Because they cancel all their sci-fi stuff.
Exactly.
So.
And let's be real, like, everyone's banding about the word cancelled. It's not cancelled because we have the final, 2 episodes that are being shown. We've always known that it's going to be a beginning, middle, and ends, so we're going to get closure.
You forgot definitive.
Definitive, yeah, exactly. And what else came out? They had the Fox TCAs, which I know is like a different network, but they've just announced that they're bringing back 24 as another miniseries.
Yeah, but it's a completely without Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah. It's a brand new cast. But yeah, because of the success of the original revival of 24, then that could very well have still happened for Heroes down the line.
The Heroes Twitter tweeted out something. It's one of Carlos's lines when he's with Farah in the episode before, which is sometimes you need to stand up for something bigger than yourself. And I just think I really like that quote. And so I'm pushing it as like an unofficial kind of rallying cry for the peeps. So yeah.
We'll see you June 13th.
Yes, exactly. June 13th.
Seriously, though. Anyway, let's just get into this episode. This episode was directed by John Jones. No, not the Martian Manhunter. Yeah. It was written by Holly Harold.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly move on to the synopsis.
It's a long one.
Yeah. As the first solar flare is released, word spreads due to Micah's video. Matt makes his way to Gateway, where he threatens Taylor to force Erica to give him the watches he needs to secure his family's future. Once he has, he lets Taylor go and leaves, but later crashes his car into a river, losing the 3 watches. He had two watches losing 2 watches and still having one broken one on himself, leaving him trapped and crying. And yeah, anyway, Taylor confronts Erica, and it is revealed that Taylor's father is an Evo who raped a teenage Erica. I don't know why I made such an emphasis on the word raped there. But anyway.
Because it's Heroes Fruition. They finally had an on-screen freaking rape. It was building to this, Ricky.
Anyway, we will talk about that. Erica killed him to protect Taylor, and she offers Taylor the chance to join her in the future. However, Taylor leaves as she'd rather die in the present than go to a future with her mother. Tommy begins transporting people to the future, but learns that Erica only plans to save a limited number of people and takes off with his mother into the future. Anne reminds him of his destiny to stop the Healy with Malina's help, and he begins to search for his sister. After finding their entrance to Gateway blocked, Luke decides to go to Union Wells High School and make a scene in front of the news to draw Tommy's attention. Phoebe escapes along the way, but Quentin decides to side with Luke and Malina. Malina uses her powers to make a spectacle and broadcasts a message for Tommy to meet her at Union Wells. Seeing the broadcast, Micah puts it on a loop, and both Tommy and Erica see it. Erica sends Joanne to kill Malina and Hachiro to capture Tommy. Hachiro is able to trap Tommy within the eternal fortress of Evernow, while Joanne and Luke face off. Luke is forced to kill Joanne to protect Malina, who is shielded from gunfire by an invisible Farah.
Ooh.
In Gateway, Ren meets Emily and the two set off to find Tommy together. Using the necklace Ren was given, the two are able to access the core of the facility where they find out about Tommy's capture and how Erica now intends to harness his power through Evernow.
Evernow.
Evernow. Evernow. It makes sense.
This episode was okay, yeah, let's just get started because I have so much to say about this episode.
I've got at the top of my list is Tommy and everything that goes with him, but I did come up with something while I was watching the episode, and it kind of brings me to how we're going to refer to Tommy and Nathan. And we've probably said this, but there's two versions of Tommy, much like there were two versions of Hero. We've got the kind of powered and confident in his powers kind of future hero / Nathan, and then we have the one that we're kind of stuck with, which is Hero and Tommy, who are both kind of like just still learning about their powers. So that's how I'm going to kind of reference them now. So obviously Tommy is going to be the one that we know, and Nathan is going to be the one from June 13th. What do you think about that? Because I thought that there was really quite a bit of parallels between, Tommy and his stepfather.
Oh, it's totally intentional. And I totally get that. And it's just like, okay, that's fine.
Anyway, it starts off with Tommy, like he's just walking through Gateway, and Emily kind of runs up to him, tells him not to trust Erica. And this is when I, like the penultimate episode is where I'm like, yeah, it's too late for her to double cross. So yeah. And then as the episode got along, I started realizing a bit more, but we find out Tommy's not caring about his sister, but he's not trying to find her because he just wants to try and save as many people as he can. So yeah, he's kind of drinking Erica's Kool-Aid because of, what she's shown him. She's shown him the future because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know about alt timelines and all that kind of stuff. He just thinks, well, this is going to happen. I might as well just save as many people as I can.
But he does make a good point.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people are saying that he's dumb or that he's naive. Well, he's also known about his powers to time travel for like a week, essentially. So come on, give the kid a break. So yeah. So we move on. He sits in the Ando chair as you tweeted out, and he sends an advanced team to the future. And I kind of like in the background, and they've always been rebuilding Evernow, and it kind of makes sense because they can't they've tried to plug him into the Matrix. That didn't work. So they thought the next best thing, well, he's got Hero's power. Let's just trap him in Evernow. But because it's broken, they need to fix it. So they're using the chair in the meantime, but they know that once they go to the future, he's going to like turn on them or something like that. So like as a precaution, they've just thought, oh, F it. Let's just put him in Evernow and we can use his powers whenever I want. So yeah. Tommy finds out that they need 12 people to have genetic diversity and teleports out.
12,000.
12,000? Yeah. And then he finds his mum, takes her to the future, and then this is where it starts to kind of dawn on me. He's got like two Jiminy Crickets, both of them who are women. He's got Emily who's basically telling him, you've got a destiny, start to believe in it. And he's got his mum who's saying, believe in yourself, you can do this. I really enjoyed Krista Bridges / Anne Clark in this episode. I thought she kind of reminded me of Sandra in the fact that, she's just kind of badass and, she's this human woman who's looking after this kid with really big world-changing powers and having to kind of just be his kind of moral guidance. What do you think?
I kind of wish they would have fleshed her out more throughout the series. But, it is what it is at this point. She the character kind of deserved it. And I think the actress has been doing a great job with it. So, it is what it is, though.
Yeah. And she says that Hero was amazed by Tommy's powers. So,
I don't think she was being very truthful. I think she was just kind of blowing smoke up his butt.
But he's not, it's weird because he's not got the exact same power as Hero. And I don't know, like, if he takes someone else's power, will he have a variation on it, Anyway, even though he's got like this big power, and it was one of the problems of the first season, you have all these people with like really big powers, but they've depowered him essentially, and I kind of dig that.
Well, that's the problem with that specific power though.
Yeah.
So, and it gets a little frustrating. It's just like, God, just don't bring it into the thing then!
He's kind of inherited his stepfather's innocence of, he's quite like our hero in that he just kind of goes along with stuff. He's just misinformed and he believes what Erica's telling him. And, this is the future that's going to happen. He doesn't know any better. And then he goes back. We see the clock tower at Gateway, which kind of threw me for a loop because I literally thought it was going to be like a Back to the Future clock tower, but no, it's a massive digital clock tower.
'Cause future.
Exactly. And tells him that tampering with time is a dangerous thing because he says he's going to try and find his sister now, and the only way he thinks he can do it is going back in time to where he knew where she was.
Well, they should have totally done that instead of that showdown. But they had to have the showdown. We had to have our Kirby Plaza. So.
Exactly. And then he sees the broadcast, goes to Union Wells, gets captured by Hachiro, and that's it. We finish with him locked in Evernow and speaking, but then also having his words backwards put over the top. And then we pan out, and I quite enjoy. I really liked what they did with the new kind of Eternal Fortress. That it was a little bit glitchy, and
well, they were still building it. I mean, when they stuck the needle in Hachiro's neck, he was just barely done.
Exactly.
So it's still filling itself out, I guess.
So how did you feel about Tommy in this episode?
I've never really been on board with Tommy, especially since he was basically billed as like the savior of this series. It just. I mean, it just doesn't ring true to me. Like, he just irritates me at every freaking time. He really does. And I was just really upset, I guess, because he's kind of like Carlos, except for everybody like fawns over him. And it's just like, I just want him to be a hero already. Like, I'm tired of this floundering, I guess.
You want Nathan, not Tommy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I want real Nathan.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Team Malina, as I've put it?
Sure, let's do Team Malina.
So...
I swear to God, Farah better be okay.
She's going to be okay. She's got a comic book coming out.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. Father Maurizio bit it.
She's going to be okay. She survived Afghanistan. She can survive 2 bullets in her belly. She'll be fine. And what is the point of like giving Carlos this kind of redemption angle if he's not going to get the happy reunion at the end of it? You see what I did there?
Because they wanted to be dark and gritty.
Happy reunion. They're in the car. Luke comes up with the bright idea to make Tommy find them, and they make their way to Primatech. And what did you think he was going to do with the Fradys at Primatech? He was blatantly just going to...
Really? That's what I thought too.
And it's weird, especially after, she made such a big deal about it in the last episode. She was like, you're not that guy anymore. Don't do this. And
like, it's been 2 days, Malina. Shut up. Let him get rid of Phoebe at least. She's dragging Quentin down.
I kind of dig evil Phoebe in this episode because she's like, you're not going to kill me, and just runs off. She called his bluff, and it was great. And then, Quentin decides then to kind of join Team Malina, for lack of a better word. What do you think about him? His line, "That's not my sister."
It's about damn time he realized it. Like, he was, like you were saying last week, he was clinging on to that image of his little sister that, went away to college and, was just making shadow puppets. And this chick is deranged now.
Yeah. Since he's come back, we don't know how much time he's actually spent with Phoebe. Because of the butterfly, he could have spent the whole June 13th to, 2014 to 2015 with her. But all we know is that he's been spending more time with her since they got back. And he's noticed how kind of evil she is and how it's not his sister. And it's a good time for him to kind of switch sides. But I'm still holding out hope for the Frady cats.
Nah, we can let Phoebe burn up in the Healy. I'm sorry.
No, I want them back together. Anyway, I like the little bit where she's using her powers and the flashlight goes out, but that's all I wanted to bring up. And then they make it to the hallway. How did you feel being in the hallway again?
Yeah? I mean, I get what they were trying to do, but it's just like, let's shall we not?
Well, I like the kind of little Easter eggs, like the fact that she's wearing not really exactly the same jacket, but it's kind of an homage. Like, she's been wearing that jacket the whole time. And
this whole series is nothing but an homage to something.
Oh, God. So anyway, they have that little moment in the hallway, and then they go into the gym, and they get Tommy's attention by making a hurricane of crap or trash.
I said a trash cyclone, I think.
Yeah.
No, a garbage cyclone. And I'm like, yep, that's about right.
I think that's I think a lot of people were thinking about that was like a decent enough metaphor for for this
Yep.
episode. A flaming tornado of trash. But anyway, then she leaves the video message. I liked the video message. I thought it was it felt very much like Claire's.
Did they actually ever say Claire's name in this episode? I felt like she just kept being referred to the cheerleader and her. I'm like,
Yeah,
but we've said Claire's name before, so what the hell?
yeah, but it's like Katana Girl. Like a lot of people still don't really remember Miko's actual name because she's been known as Katana Girl, and I think it's a good thing that they haven't really mentioned her name because they haven't really met her. So it kind of puts her in this other not pedestal, but yeah, kind of like.
How bad was that photo? It's just like, oh, we can't have Hayden Pants here. Here, have a damn photo.
And I think that photo is her in the actual cheerleader uniform. I think that's from season 2, and they've just photoshopped it over. But maybe that's just me. We then have the Luke and Joanne face-off, and how did you feel about that?
Luke is now my favorite person. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Oh, I didn't think they were ever going to kill this woman.
I found it really quite anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, oh.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like they realised that people didn't like Joanne, and so in the break they were like, let's just take a lot of stuff that we have of her out and just have her die really quickly.
No, I think Joanne was always meant to be like Heroes Reborn's most hated character. It's kind of very obvious, but they have that problem of closing the door. They were like, well, we can't close the door, but we have to save the really truly big thing for the finale. So it is what it is.
Yeah, fair enough. And then it's been revealed that Farah's been shot. And El Vengador makes his way over with a power slide halfway across the room, picks up his woman, and leaves.
He thought this was Step Up or something.
I know, right? And I just thought it was really nice that Luke finally got to meet El Vengador, but didn't know who it was, because, he's been wanting to get him for a while now. But yeah, a little side note is, obviously, the Team Hero Truther make their way. They obviously spread the message to Tommy, and Farah saves Malina. So yeah, that's all we got to talk about with them. I think this story kind of took a back seat to like the main part of the story.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because it was Malina. They don't care about Malina at all.
I think she's actually getting quite a bit more time. Well, she's obviously a bit more.
She doesn't have lines. She has looks and stares. She had that one line for the video, and then they were like, oh, let's put this on a loop so we can count these as lines.
I like the less is more with her, because I think she's got a lot more to do with the end than everyone thinks, if you get me.
Still doesn't make up for the... She feels very underdeveloped. It's very underwhelming. I mean, literally, still all we know about Malina is that she's Claire's daughter, she's brave, bold, and ethereal, and it's kind of pissing me off. And Luke has this weird thing for her, and it's getting really creepy and gross.
And she likes candy.
Yes.
Anyway, I started to think about this episode and the fact that, in Lost, you've got such a big ensemble of people, but every episode you get one character that you kind of focus on. And it feels like that's what they've been doing with these past couple of episodes. Like, you remember when we were talking about like season 2 and they were just concentrating on a core figure of characters each episode and kind of coming back to them like they do in The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like what they're trying to do now, but it's just a bit too late. I think if they had done this more in the beginning of the season, we would have felt a bit more for these characters. But yeah.
But let's be real, had they done that, I don't think I would be as happy, because I mean, we put the focus on where it needed to be, which was Papa Bennett, aka HRG. So
still no Papa Bennett in this episode, but yeah.
I called it. I called it when I talked to them the last. I was like, yeah, they're gonna save it for the finale.
Definitely. And he'll be in the last 10 minutes. But
the last 10 seconds he just pops out of nowhere.
Anyway, Erica and her story. So we start off with Erica needing Hachiro to fix Evernow, and Matt comes in using a bargaining chip, Taylor. And again, he doesn't threaten to kill her himself. He gets Taylor to kind of do it herself. Do you think that there's a similarity between Matt and Erica?
No. I mean, superficial, sure, but at the core of it, no.
I think what we got from this episode, or I'm still kind of on the fence about Erica, but they both will do anything to kind of protect their family, no matter what the cost is, whether it's killing Evos or housing them in a Sunstone Manor to make yourself feel better about yourself. But yeah, anyway, Erica reveals that she's kind of doing everything that she's done because of Taylor. She thinks that Parkman didn't fulfill his part of Sunstone Manor because,
Hold on, Ricky. I actually have I called it when we said what was Taylor's secret, and I said she's an Evo, and like, no, she's an Evo. Finally.
She's not an Evo.
She's an Evo.
No, she's not. She's housing an Evo.
No, it reactivated her long simmering power that Erica did something to it.
I don't know if we'll see anyway, because Eve tweeted out something basically saying it's been a blast. So I don't know if she's going to be in the next episode. So this is something that we're going to have to carry on debating for the next 5 years until Hero's resurrected and she comes back.
Oh, no, it's only going to be 3 years, though. They're not going to be that crazy.
Fair enough. So anyway, the pregnancy is revealed and she gives up the watches to Parkman. And then we start going into the company woman aspect of the story. And after 4 seasons, it finally happened. What do you think?
I have to laugh about it, so I'm not so mad about it. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that they could have gone about this for Erica hating Evos, but it just felt so wrong.
Yeah. I see where they're going with it. Obviously, there's lots of parallels to kind of bigotry and racism in this season. And obviously, if from a young age, something bad happens to you because of a certain section of people, you're going to grow up and be like, well, I don't like them. And I can kind of see where they're going with that.
They could have had the straight up HRG parallel where he killed her father on purpose instead of killing him because she didn't have the money or something.
Exactly. And so anyway,
it's a great motivator though. And then to have her carry the child of the product of rape, that's like extra heavy too.
Yeah.
So just is what it is. I get why they did it, but I don't really agree with it.
Yeah. It still makes me wonder about, like, the episode I quite enjoyed, but this kind of left a very sour taste in my mouth. And I think when we come to, like, the roundtable reviews, I think a few people will also have big issues with this. But anyway, Erica, like, for the whole season, I have never really known her motivation. I don't know if she's ever speaking the truth. So when she tells Taylor, I've done everything that I have because of you, I still don't know whether that's true or not.
But can we just get back to the flashback for 1 second? Shout out to her killing that dude, though. Like,
oh yeah,
really cathartic.
Yeah, straight up Siler.
Joanne!
Exactly, Joanne / Siler, yeah. But yeah, do you think that she's telling the truth when she says she's done everything for Eve or / Taylor, sorry?
I think in her own sick, twisted mind, that's exactly what she uses as her justification.
Yeah, I guess. And then also it still brings in the themes of Heroes has always kind of done is like sins of the father / protecting your children no matter what. So she's essentially been HRG again, just overprotecting of her daughter. But she's done it so much to the fact that she's kind of pushed her daughter away. And, that's what leads them to kind of split up, I guess.
There is a flaw in this whole thing.
Yep.
If Erica had Taylor as a baby, she has aged like milk, son. I mean, as a teenager. I'm just saying. I don't think they thought that one through with the casting.
Maybe. What did you think about their standoff in the corridors?
Oh man, that could have been so much better, right? Like it could have been more intense. It's just 2 guards. I just wanted the baby to pick Erica up by her throat and slam her into the damn thing. Not my grandma.
Anyway, ends with them kind of going their own ways. And there's a nice little moment where Erica looks like she's about to cry. And then she kind of pulls herself back, redoes up her jacket, and then just carries on as is. I don't know whether or not that this is going to have implications on what happens in the next episode. So it ends up with Hachiro remaking Evernow. There's something goes into his neck, and they...
So is the real Miko still like in a cryo chamber? Is that what we're saying? Like,
yeah, is she in the future? Because that's where we saw her last.
So what does that mean for the real Miko then? If he's dead, she's not going to hold up her end of the bargain, or?
I don't think he's dead, because it was just an injection. So we'll see.
Of poison.
But no, we forgot the most important bit. Young CASPAR from Primatech. Really bad lip dub. What did you? Are you glad?
I lost it. Even my boyfriend was like, "Wait, is that the young version of the guy?" Like, he always had a flower in his lapel. Who knew? It wasn't an evolution of style. It was a stunted growth of style.
I think it's quite important that obviously, she lets She tells him to not make her forget, and that kind of seems to be what drives her to kind of become the woman that she is today. But also, it's a way of connecting her to Primatech. So she's always kind of
I still say Victoria is her mom. They never said anything about her mom, just her
yeah.
dad. So it's still a possibility. And I'm gonna rate the fanfic.
And her dad was such a nice guy.
I know, right? Oh, bad things always happen to good people and heroes. Always, always. And that
Anyway.
bad people stay around forever.
And then we'll just go on some other little bits, which is Parkman goes out like a punk. What did you think of?
A straight up chump, son. I was like, oh, I always knew this was gonna happen. I always knew he was gonna go out like a chump. I always knew it.
Yeah. Even though he's got this new badass evil Parkman, he still goes out like a
You
chump.
better astral project your ass to the future, son.
This is season 4 when he's out in like the penultimate episode and doesn't come into the final.
What a waste of Greg Grunberg if they don't bring him into the finale. If he doesn't get saved.
I know. And then we have the Renily storyline. Ren makes it to Renatus. It's obviously because of Hichiro. Then they team up to save their loved ones. But let's talk about how they join up. What did you think of the scene?
I mean, I liked it, but it was like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so, like, sappy, man.
Here's what it was. The writing for them two joining up was the most beginner RPG kind of reason to get people together that I've ever heard. But because it's Ren involved, I'm like, I'll let it slide. I will let this slide.
Yep, basically.
But yeah, and that's it. And then they go to level 10 because, level 6 isn't enough.
Oh, and I was just like, if you don't want somebody breaking into your thing, how about you not make an obvious button obvious?
Oh.
Like, what?
Oh, God. Anyway, and that's all I've got for it. Is there any other points you want to bring up about the episode?
Not really. I'm just kind of disappointed with the flashbacks. Like, when they said company woman, I thought we were going on full on black and white flashback, really a little bit more meatier. I mean, we only got like, what, 3 or 4 flashbacks for it, and it really didn't connect to the rest of the story.
Yeah.
I just feel like they should have done this episode sooner.
Yeah. What did you think of Caitlin Carver, the girl who played young Erica?
The casting for it was a little off for me. Like, she didn't really quite look like Erica, so that kind of threw me off. But I thought she did a really great job. They always usually find really good young actors.
Yeah.
And this was no exception.
Young Angela or young Erica?
Young Angela. Come on, be for real. That's like hands down one of the best performances in Heroes history. So
Cool. So yeah, I've got Easter eggs. Obviously, company woman. The Ando chair is in level 6, which is a new thing that they've been bringing up because 5 isn't enough. The ID chip with him getting tagged, I got that as a kind of bag and tagging thing. Some of these I'm really reaching, but yeah. Gateway, obviously, because there's that in the future, and there's like a poster on the way when they're making their way into Union Wells. There's the card of Primatech, the Helix necklace, the Helix symbol, the Master of Time and Space. They mention great-grandmother, who is obviously Angela, and brings up your father, who is obviously Hiro Nakamura. Scissors! In capitals, because, what's a good old death with scissors? And she also stabs him in the back of the neck, which could be why they put people into the Matrix. Picture of Claire in the hallway. The hurricane felt kind of a bit Mick the ice cream guy, or maybe that's just me. Was that a snow globe in Baby Taylor's hand? She was holding
I really
something.
feel like it was.
Yeah, but it was like shining red, so I was like really confused.
It was her power.
Okay. We will debate this. As you're listening to this, let us know, do you think it's Taylor who has the power or Baby who has the power? CASPAR worked for the company longer than we thought, and there was also Where Are the Heroes on the barn ceiling.
I know, I was like, hey, that's from the trailer.
I know, right? So, world building. Obviously, we've got the Healy on its way, and it's making the news now in kind of every country. I really enjoyed the opening scenes, and I've always liked these kind of little world building things. What did you think about it?
It's all right.
Fair enough. We know that places are being evacuated, air traffic control is being grounded. Obviously, the military is being called in. They talk about the terrorist video and it being kind of alarmist propaganda. Evos are still being blamed, and they say that Hero Truther kind of has no credibility. And how are they blaming Renatus when Renatus has helped us so much? Who are you going to believe? People are boarding up their houses. There's 12k. People needed to have genetic diversity. And the clock tower in Renatus. So yeah. Theory crafting. Who do you think is going to go into Evernow to save Tommy?
I think Katana Girl's gonna show back up because another Master Time and Space is entrapped in Evernow again.
Interesting, yes, because I thought it was just going to be Emily and Ren just playing on their things going in. But yeah, that makes sense. Also, burning questions.
Or Ren is the real Miko.
Oh. See, when I said that he's a construct, you're like, nah. But now is a
No,
different
I
power.
mean like he's like physically the real Miko or some weird crap. I feel like they're gonna pull out all the weird crap in the last episode.
Burning questions. When they get to Renatus, there's a voice over the intercom. I kept on thinking it was Parkman. And who took HRG is still one of the big questions. So yeah.
It's future Tommy though, right? Like we know that.
We don't know
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so the review.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Who was your favorite character this episode?
Gonna go with Anne Clark, Mama Clark, for the
Does
win.
somebody have a little crush on Krista Bridges right now?
I just think she did really well. I think she did really good in this episode. I really liked her, and I like the thought of like her being the kind of conscience on Tommy's shoulder and kind of giving him direction. I think he's kind of needed that because he's always kind of second guessing himself. He just needs someone to tell him what to do. So yeah, how about you?
Like all men.
Exactly.
Let me see. Like I said, Luke is my favorite character for killing Joanne. I make no bones about it.
How about your favorite pairing?
Pairing / character interactions. I'm gonna go with Tommy and his mother, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna get Taylor, Erica in the corridor. I thought it was a really good scene. I actually really liked it. I thought they played really well against each other. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite
Line? Never be afraid of the scars we bear for our children. Think that says it all, really, don't you? Anyway, how about you?
It was the line where Taylor's like, I'm pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm not as unfamiliar with this situation as you would think.
Whilst
or
looking,
whatever.
whilst looking out the window.
Always looking out the window.
What next?
Moments, scenes, whatever.
I enjoyed like Taylor getting into the elevator and then going back to Erica and just seeing her like literally about to cry, and then she's just like, nope, not gonna cry, gonna save the world and carry on as normal. How about you?
Okay, I have two favorite scenes. My first favorite scene is when Ren and Emily like meet up, and then my favorite moment is when Ren realizes, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this necklace, and hey, it finally came in handy. And my other favorite moment is Joanne dying, and then my other favorite scene is Malina reaching out to Tommy.
So
Great.
I really enjoyed the episode because of the way it made me think about the characters, but just that thing still leaves a sour taste in my mouth. So I'm probably gonna go with like a B minus. I kind of want to give it higher, but I just can't. So how about you?
It was a B plus for me. It's better than a lot of their penultimate episodes, but it still has all the classic hallmarks of a hero's penultimate episode.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So I guess we'll move on to feedback.
Listen to feedback.
Okay, so first things first, I've got a long list of names because we put out over the Twitter, the Tumblr, and the Facebooks that we were going to try and trend Heroes Reborn Season 2, which didn't work, but it was a good old show. So yeah, the following people did help us out. HRG108, Miss Morning Eve, Danny_Vaughan, Bennett Twinnits, Blate57, Creative Maze, Cake Hood Dilamus, Heroes are FR, Zach Levi _fans, Cyclonic Rage, Robbie KK, Taylor Mar 7777, Randall _Jonjo, Mycon 4400MR, Leah 1011, Soy Luis Martinez, BR Heroes Reborn, Buoyant Savior, Two Sides One Coin, Dreams with K, Star Crescendo, O25, Directioner, Wit Ashlyn, Falco _9K, CL Dago, Pingu112, Hoovian Mish, Scarlet X Rose __, Alicat723, and The Walking Dando. Thank you very much for joining in. Next week, question mark maybe? Anyway, so we'll go on to, I guess, the feedback. First things first, Bennett's Twinnits has a theory about the hypnosis of Matt Parkman. So I believe that the hypnosis is that he has the group sit down with the Evos when they first show, and kind of like conditioned his effect to revamp every time they heard his command. So the first time they were actually hypnotized, and after that they have little quote-unquote tiders between scheduled vaccinations that fooled their brain into thinking that they were still hypnotized, a conditioned response to his voice. Or that may have been why some people were separated they still hadn't got their treatment yet and still needed that one-on-one time with Matt. I started thinking about it, and obviously, you know, the first time that Carlos is in the corridor, we see people like being experimented on, and maybe, yeah, that's how he's able to control them with the tape-to-tape deck. FD_Reborn. This is a long one, so thank you very much. Even though I'm going to watch the final 2 episodes, I think I'm actually angry with Heroes and Kring for Reborn, because while I do like the new storylines and characters, I feel their use of Hero, Mahinda, Parkman, etc. were just wastes of time and kind of an insult to fans of the original show. Only HRG has been used well this time around. There's more, but what do you think about that statement, Lilith?
I can see where they're coming from. I'm actually glad that they went so 180 with Matt Parkman, because it makes sense of what we've seen and what we know of Matt. And not everybody can be the good guy, that, you know what I mean? Like, characters do have to evolve and grow. So I do appreciate that they showed a different side of Matt this time, although he's still incompetent as hell. And I kind of do agree with that. Like I said, I agree with that statement a little bit. I definitely know where they're coming from, but, you know, I enjoy the choices that they've made with these characters. I mean, we just didn't flat out have enough time, is what it boils down to.
Definitely, but you know, there's obviously like other factors into how long people are in it. Like, obviously, Massey's working on another network, and they allowed him to work on Heroes for 3 episodes. So, you know, that kind of limits.
I think his arc was very well done, personally.
Exactly. And we got Future Hero, who we've kind of been waiting for. So apart from Mahinda, I think all the characters were kind of used well, because they were pretty much different, and that's what I really enjoyed about the show. You know, this is 5 years later. No one stays exactly the same for 5 years. They're gonna change, and I think that they handled it well.
Well, on the Mohinder thing, though, I think that the plot twist should have been that he was an actual, like, Evo terrorist.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's still to
but not working for Erica, but like on his own, because he is technically an Evo. So
this show is like a reboot. It's meant to be with new characters, but you know, they just decided, you know, we've got this particular storyline that we need. So we need time travel. So obviously we need someone who can time travel. Well, can we get Massey back? We need someone who kind of runs Sunstone Manor. Can we get Greg back? That's how it felt. It felt like they were trying to create a new show, but they also could get these people in to tell different stories from the old show. So yeah, they carry on with Heroes and Reborn. Would have been better, in my opinion, if it had a decent co-showrunner to kind of rein in Kring and keep him in check. Some of his ideas and plots really didn't work, and he didn't know how to write himself out of them, or to have someone to stop him from starting bad storylines in the first place. What do you think of that?
No. I totally don't agree at all. It is what it is. I feel like what happened actually with this whole Tommy and Malina and Claire thing is that I think Hayden Panettiere kind of initially said something in a positive direction, and then the more that she thought about it and she was pregnant, and then ABC was like, oh, hell to the no, that they kind of, I just feel like something big got yanked from under them at kind of the last minute, and so they had to do a lot of backpedaling, but I still think it turned out just fine.
Yeah.
I think that Tim is the man that created this universe. He knows best. He knows all these characters, holds them in his heart, and I wouldn't want somebody else to do that. I was kind of bummed that we didn't bring back more of the old writers. Actually.
Definitely. We're still on FD_Reborn. As the series nears the end, I'm realizing how rushed some of the character relationships were. The way they used Parkman, Hero, upset me. We've already talked about that. Parkman's heel turn and his fate were most upsetting. I loved him so much in Heroes. Hero's appearance was fun, if not a bit too short. His last scene being a cliffhanger really sucks. Mahinda, poor Sunil, never could get a break. Mahinda could have just been used so much better, but having Sunil do the voiceovers was a very nice touch. Just wish Mahinda appeared more in Heroes Reborn. I really hope Hero appears in the finale. I can't accept June 13th Part 2 being the last time I ever see him. So, we've already talked about those people. What do you think about the kind of character or relationships aspect? Do you think some of it was rushed?
Not rushed. It's just like I said, it feels like something happened in the breakdown of talks where they couldn't do what they needed to do, and so they had to scramble. So it's not rushed. It just feels like it was changed from the initial plan. But the whole Malina thing is the thing that has pissed me off the most.
Okay. As a general opinion on Heroes Reborn, I think parts of it are very good. Others feel rushed or iffy. OG cast got shafted. I do like Luke, Ren, Miko, Tommy, and Malina, and Carlos are enjoyable, but could have used more build. Same for Quentin, but Erica's backstory should have come sooner. June 13th eps could have been bigger. And I understand 13 episodes are kind of hard to build new characters and expect an audience to care.
Unless you're a British show.
Exactly. Or Bates Motel, or, stuff like that. Some shows do it in 10. They carry on with, to be entirely honest, I'd almost forgotten some of the earlier episodes before Hero showed up. Carlos and Farah could have had more development. I think they had the right amount of development. I really enjoyed their development. But, we talked about that many times. They really like Hachiro Otomo. He's no Kato, but he's cool. And they also love Eve as Taylor Cravid. Hope she has a happy ending in the finale. I can't say those two words together anymore. And there's nothing else I think we've talked about most of this stuff before, but, they end off with, think Tommy/Nathan will go back in time and have Pennyman restore his memory.
Yes. More CASPAR. That's what this show needs.
Okay, so thank you for your feedback, FD_Reborn. We're going to move on to more people now. So, Nor237 said, loved it all. Every second was amazing. Pingu112 said, I really loved Heroes tonight. I can't wait for the finale. It's been great, and Heroes Reborn Season 2 would be sweet. Taylor Mar7777 says, it was an amazing episode, had me on the edge of my seat. I like the flashbacks that show how Erica got into Primatech. Love tonight's episode. Angel Poo 12 says, action-packed. Luke nuking his wife to save others. Whoa. Parkman, after all the mess he did, came back to bite him. Good. I hope to see Katana Girl save Tommy. Definitely. Two sides, one coin. The Katana Girl avatar depixelated outside Sunstone after the battle with Harris Prime. Will we see her again to save Tommy, or will Ren somehow redesign the Katana Girl avatar so that it's Emily? That would be awesome. Joanne's story has come to an end, and to a degree, so has Parkman's. Karma's a bitch.
Yes! I love that statement.
English Idiot 101. Charlie. Heroes Reborn has gotten so good, it's a shame NBC won't be ordering the second season. I'm going to preface that with yet. This episode was
3 years from now,
exactly.
On June 13th.
3 years gone. This episode was really good, from Erica's backstory to Malina almost meeting Tommy again. I was hoping we would see Noah, but obviously they are saving a surprise from him. Can't wait to see the final episode. BB8 and Ray said, loved Company Woman so much. It was really good. The promo for the series finale made me tear up. Or, if you read it really quickly, tear up. Tear up! Tear up for what?
Turn up! Turn up! That's what I hope they do in the last episode, for real.
I tweeted at Nate that ever since he came on the show, we've got a lot more wrestling terms coming onto the show. So he sent me back. Nate Mosaic, Tommy's hope spot at Union Wells got me. Otomo's betrayal was as bad as Hogan at Bash at the Beach.
I get that reference.
Nice. Cyclonic Rage, about 80% of it felt like filler. I would have liked a bigger backstory for Erica. Performances were good though, 6 out of 10. That's a fair point. I don't think it felt like filler, but, that's me, because I'm a Heroes apologist and I read too much into things, and yeah.
Yes! Oh my god, you are, but that's why we love you.
Macarena Durant said, my thoughts on last night's episodes of Heroes Reborn were mixed. Scared when Malina got shot, but it was Farah. Happy that Ren and Emily are teaming up to save Tommy, and Quentin came back to the good side. I was sad when they showed Claire's picture and Melina's sad reaction, and Francis is dead. I was mad at Tommy being trapped in Evernow. So we'll move on to Facebook comments. Michael Henretti said, the attempt by the show to try and get us to sympathise with Erica fell really flat, but all in all, thought it was one of the better episodes. Hope the finale holds up. Been a disappointing season. Hope it ends on a high note. And Dunny Riga responded to that saying, LOL, how dare they make us sympathise with Magneto by showing us that stuff happens in real life, and events in a person's life make them a person that they are now. It's unheard of. I remember Gabriel Gray having the hunger and trying to get away from the hunger, and Noah Bennett and Elle Bishop made him do it. Yet no one complains about that.
Oh, we did.
Oh yeah, definitely we did. So yeah, maybe the next episode they'll retcon everything and Erica's story will be more sympathetic. But yeah.
But hold on. If you didn't have feelings for Magneto before First Class, read a comic book. I'm just saying.
Next up, Hardworking Deb said, terrible way for Parkman character to end-ish. All that power, got what he wanted, for all of it to be washed away. I'm sorry, but that's not love. After all that and what she did for the love of her daughter, only to be shot down. Erica is just a serious control freak. Glad to see the younger Pennyman. Joanne deserved it, and glad to see Phoebe's brother on the good side. A lot of things happened in this episode that people were glad of. You know, Quentin going back.
Dude, I know what's gonna happen with Matt.
Go on.
Usutsu's gonna show up and save him.
Oh, taken to that desert in the future. And yeah, anyway, Elijah Alexander said, you sympathize with Erica for a moment, but when she sticks to a plan, she loses the empathy. And the Parkman scene at the end was unnecessary. I don't care what happened to him. That's nice.
Y'all leave my baby alone.
Know,
you
right?
leave him alone.
Nick Kello said, I still love Matt Parkman. He's a good guy and at one point lost his way. I think in the next episode he will be on our side again. I don't think he's going to be in the next episode.
I don't think he's going to be anywhere.
Exactly. Ray Gonzalez said, they better go out with a bang because this being the only season, I think Tommy is sloppy. He gets caught too easily and his sister is not as bad. And with Matt, he needed to play it smart. Bad things happen to people who do bad things like he did. He had it coming. I liked that they showed Claire's picture in the high school, made us look back on the good old days. I don't really call them good old days, but anyway. I still think Hero is alive, though. He took Bennett's ass. So I'm assuming he meant he took Bennett. Can't wait to see him come back next week. I think Tommy being quote-unquote sloppy and getting caught too easy is just, you know, it's Tommy. He's not Nathan.
It's a young hero's journey.
Exactly. He's not Nathan. He's going to have to learn. Sean Lamar said, screw Matt! That was a cop-out. I don't know if that's a pun is intended in that.
Probably.
Tiffy Boo says, hate Matt now. I loved him in Heroes, but he's changed. The parts about Erica's past were sad. They went on two different tangents there, but yeah, we've said it many times. We love Evil Parkman. Sean Lamar said, she did too much wrong for us to feel bad for her now. What do you think? Do you think the episode was too late, wasn't it?
Yep.
Cool.
Unfortunately. Hold on, wait. I know the perfect place that company woman should have went. Should have been right after we found out Taylor was pregnant.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would have made more sense. Anyway,
hindsight is 2020.
Okay, so we're going to move on to quote unquote spoilery stuff. Like basically, we're just going to go over the trailer for the next episode. There's some tweets that got sent out that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Inside the Eclipse. We're going to talk about the synopsis and some pictures for the next episode. And finally, there is a massive theory that we were sent, which I want to go through because it sounds great. So anyway, I would say to people, if you want to listen at your own discretion. If not, just skip to like maybe the last 3 minutes in the episode and you can get our wrap up. So yeah, cool. So first things first, you can see me on Entertainment Canada. Yeah, me. And next week you might be able to see me and Lilith, which is going to be weird because it will be only the second time I've actually talked to Lilith face to face, right?
Yeah.
Lilith's
we tried Blab, it didn't work.
Lilith's just like, yeah, I'm over it. Anyway, I'll leave the links to the show notes, but there's also a bit where ET Canada talked to Kiki Susani, and in the interview, she kind of says, Katana Girl, when she disappeared, she went back to Evernow, and I don't know if that's a slip, or if that is just her...
I called it then.
Or if it's just her, her translation from Japanese to English. So I guess we'll see in the next episode. Okay, also, Jimmy Jean-Louis, or Haitian Hero, he sent out a tweet with the cover of Godsend, and it's got a picture of Farah disappearing, and the Haitian and HRG there. So, yeah, I guess, we're going back there. Anyway, so we're going to go into the trailer now. We've got Tommy walking with Hero's sword on his back, which looks really, really out of place because the sword is too far down. It's got HRG saying it's time to save the world and putting his hand out to a crying Tommy. Hero is talking to Tommy via a TV screen. Do you reckon that's in... I reckon that might be in the Evernow. It's nice to know we're going to get Hero back for next episode, even if it's only on a TV screen. Malina and Tommy are going to hold hands, and then Malina shouting as she seems to be using her powers to the fullest potential before dying. Sorry, might not die. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to move on to Inside the Eclipse. They talk about the theme of the episode being sacrifice, Erica's backstory, and they lay out how one small event can, with such large ramifications, can change people so drastically. Rhea wanted a reason for people to either love to hate her or hate to love her. And then she read Company Woman. She even calls it the homage to Company Man. One of the writers said, they wanted to kind of bring humanity to the villain. And Rhea says it guides the choices she will make and the kind of parallels for Taylor in the fact that, they're both single women having to bring up a child. Taylor leaves because even though Erica says that she's the greatest thing that she's ever had in her life, she's still been let down by her mother, and she doesn't want the same kind of relationship with her own child. Erica's rejection by Taylor means that the future isn't what she kind of wants it to be. That kind of break and control is the epitome of Erica. The scene that I was talking about where she's about to cry and doesn't. Judith Ciccone says she enjoys playing the bad guy, and she didn't think she could pull it off. Zachary says that you can still see that she still has some kind of love for him. And Luke knows that sometimes you have to kill certain people, otherwise they'll kill you, which is why it's such a big thing for him. Farah's mission was always just to protect Malina. That's why she takes the bullet. Malina is weighted by the loss of losing both Farah and HRG, but she knows she has to carry on because of her quote-unquote destiny given to her by Angela. How are they going to save the world? And Robbie K finishes off by saying in the next episode he will come to terms with his power and he will meet someone similar to him. So yes. Anyway, we're going to move on to Project Reborn synopsis. In the fiery finale, the heroes unite to save the world. As the clock counts down to the end of the world, Tommy finds himself up against his biggest challenge yet as Erica takes drastic measures to see her plan succeed. Malina tries to fulfill her great-grandmother's prophecy to save the world with the help of Luke and Quentin. Meanwhile, Emily and Ren desperately search for Miko. Elsewhere, Carlos is faced with a life and death choice. Ooh, life and death. Who's going to die?
Everybody to die.
Well, just from this Carlos life and death choice.
Carlos really is an Evo, and he has the power of healing. And in order to save her, he has to give all his healing energy chi to her and die. There we go.
Nice. And
then her and Malina can live happily ever after.
Or Jose and Farah are both in the crosshairs, and who does he save?
His nephew. Sorry. Sorry, Farah. I love you, but little kids have to stay alive on network TV at 8 o'clock on a Thursday. Ooh, no! Jose's gonna save her. He's gonna phase through and take the bullets out.
Oh, yeah, because he still doesn't know, does he? Oh, yeah. Nope. Anyway, so we're going to move on to pictures that Spoiler TV released about the next episode. There's lots of pictures of explosions with Malina walking, Tommy having Hero's sword, Phoebe making it to Gateway and using her powers, people watching something and it's focused on Ren and Emily. Erica is pointing a gun at Emily, and then there's another picture of Emily pointing the gun towards the camera, and people look like they're trying to stop it, which makes me think that Tommy has stopped time and space and is holding them there. Or maybe it's just a picture and people are moving. Who knows? There's a picture of Tommy with guns pointed at him in level 6, and Hachiro holding the quote-unquote real Miko. So, yes, that is it. So, this theory that I want to go over. Bennett's Twinnits, thank you very much. They sent me a DM saying, I think at Aidan Glenn 17 plays a young Tommy who rescues Noah. What do you think of that?
A young Tommy?
Yeah.
Like when he knew how to work his powers?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because I think it would make sense that Hero wouldn't tell Nathan to go back into the past because of all the butterflies. But going forward into the future, there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, kind of makes sense. And then it also kind of links back to something that happened earlier. They brought up that he went to Primatech and was bagged and tagged, and that's kind of not really played a part in anything else. It just felt like something that was either a drop plot point or maybe that's where this all stems from.
No, it wasn't a drop plot point because Erica makes the point to bring it up. Like, yeah, they lie to you, and she used it to twist, I guess.
We'll see. So yeah, just think about that. If you go to at Aiden, AIDEN, Glenn with 2 N's and 17, look at the picture, tell me that's not a young Tommy. So yeah.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/Primatech Files. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Primatech Files. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn, and if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80 plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that could interest you.
Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDS. That's RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you're American.
And now it's time to wrap it up. This is the penultimate episode of Rebellion Reborn, y'all. But not really, we're just going to drag this out. Because that's what we do. But anyway, we hope you found this podcast entertaining and informative. And I'm on pins and needles until Thursday. I don't even know what's going to happen. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, remember to rate and review the podcast. You can get prizes. Do that. Either leave your Tumblr name or your Twitter name so we can find you. Lilith?
Ooh, yes. Keep the rebellion alive.